Today in the crypto space, we see the market taking a bit of a hit. Bitcoin right around 102,000, Ethereum right around the $2,500 mark, both down approximately 2%. And the rest of the crypto space, the altcoins obviously coming down as well. A few hits, Caspa, ENA, and a few others. In today's video, I want to talk about the general market. I want to use Bitcoin as a leading indicator. But more importantly, I want to talk about one project that remains undervalued. And that project is called Sonic. So you know what? Let's talk about the news. Let's analyze the charts and let's strategize to capitalize. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mike, and let's get right into it, guys. If you're new to the channel, welcome. On the channel, we talk about cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all the altcoins. Looking for opportunity, whether we go up or down, bearish or bullish, it doesn't matter. All we want to do is stay one step ahead of the market so that we can capitalize on any of the volatility. And if you appreciate the strategy, subscribe to the channel, click the bell so you don't miss out on any of my future videos, including the live streams at 8 p.m. EST, where we talk about crypto news and price action. Guys, if you have any projects you want me to cover here on the channel, feel free to let me know in the comment section below. You can hit me up on the socials. The links are in the description. Better yet, guys, join the Discord. The Discord is where it's at. Lots of good alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, and learning material. The best part is it's absolutely free. All right, guys, let's begin. Let's see what's going on here, because we have been seeing a bit of a dip here on Bitcoin, down approximately 2%, 2.5%, give or take. But structurally speaking, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and the rest of the space is still fine with regards to market structure, right? We're still okay. Yes, dips along the way. Expect them, guys. They're going to happen, even in bull runs, even in potential altcoin seasons and all of this. We're going to have peaks and valleys. We're going to have these ebbs and flows. It's very important to understand that when the market does very, very well, it's a higher probability that we're going to start getting a retracement. And maybe this was it. Maybe this was the beginning. Maybe this is all we're going to get. Maybe a bit of flush, and then we continue to the upside for another move to the upside. The reality is guys, whipsaw price action does come. Whipsaw price action is very, very painful. Why? Because longs, shorts, everybody gets wrecked, gets everybody to cool down quickly, deleverage, no over, no gambling, let's put it that way. And then all of a sudden the market remains healthy and continues in its direction. And as you know, at the current moment, we are in an upwards direction. Bitcoin is still fine. $102,000 is nothing to worry about, right? And you can see that we have been going sideways the last few hours. You can see that, and that's why we're kind of making a Bart Simpson type of top. Maybe we do come down a little bit more and then get that retracement. Guys, in my experience, retracements, especially Bart Simpson style retracements, they usually get a very strong, aggressive response to the upside. Okay, so, and this is something that we have to understand, is because when you have nice horizontal price action, like Bitcoin's price action, as you can see right here, it tends to, put a lot of confidence in the market, because invalidations are very clear. You can see the horizontal support is clear. People start piling in. They start getting into trades. They start putting stop losses underneath that horizontal. And as more and more people do that, it becomes very apparent to market makers and, of course, the whales out there, the manipulators, the ones that can go and hunt liquidity at those stop losses. It makes it apparent to them that that's an opportunity to cause a little bit of pain. And what happens here is that eventually it does happen. Eventually they go directly to that level and hunt those stop losses. So this is what sometimes happens here. Could this be that event? Possibly. Could it be the beginning of a bigger reversal? I don't think so, because again, like I mentioned, market structure is still fine. Stay tuned, guys. We're going to take a look at Bitcoin, of course. And in the meantime, let's just, scrape through the top 100, and then we'll jump right into the Sonic chart, because it will give us an idea of what really is happening here, big picture throughout the market. As you can see, the market cap is still in an uptrend. We did get a bit of a trading volume here, but there is volatility. The trading volume is kicking in even to the downside, but also to the upside, because we did get a bit of a bounce as Bitcoin came down, right? So maybe there's some trading volume with regards to bullish and bearish momentum. So I still feel like ultimately right now this is still a battlefield, and the bearish response is, although there, ultimately is going to have to test the bullish response, and let's see which one or which side of the fence eventually wins here. We do see Ethereum still holding strong, and a lot of the altcoins are still in an uptrend despite this little dip that we've had today towards the basically around lunchtime, midday. We start to see a bit of a retracement or a rejection. We have some alts that are still looking okay. As you can see, the average dip is approximately 2 to 3%. No big deal. Obviously, if you start getting to lower caps, they start to look a little bit more deep. Obviously, the larger caps didn't dip that much, 2 to 3%, like I mentioned. Is it something to worry about? No. Are there some L1s still in the green? Yes, we have a few here and there, but the majority of the market right now is somewhat of in a dip scenario, as you can see, but structurally speaking, still very sound. Okay, guys, so don't worry, panic too much, because again, one bearish response could be definitely responded to by the bulls to the point that we end up making higher highs. And of course, today, as you can see, I want to talk about Sonic and the strength the Sonic is representing here, not even flinching really at this pullback. Look at it, hanging steady, nice and sideways, no sellers, all buyers, and that's a sign of strength. And this is what I want to focus on, is strong projects. Ideally, we can start getting into smaller caps, but given that today's a red day, maybe it's an opportunity to pile into some larger caps still and focus on the safety side of the space, especially as we've seen a lot of green, especially over Saturday and last week and the week before. Guys, we've been doing very, very well here in the market. Market has been treating us well. So, if you're greedy, you tend to pay the price. And don't be greedy, guys. Just do your thing, get in and get out, take those profits, especially in the next little while, guys. We've done super well. So trading is the safest thing right now, is to get in and get out, and that way, if we do come down for a bigger retracement, it's not going to hurt you that much because you have your invalidation. Okay, guys, so we'll be talking about setups tonight at 8 p.m. EST, looking for good risk to reward ratio setups where we can get in from a position of strength. Make sure you got that bell notification on so you don't miss out on that live stream, guys. They've been on fire lately. All right, guys, so let's jump right into some of these charts. Let's see what we got going on here. Bitcoin, of course, doing its thing. Bitcoin, did dip, guys, unfortunately, but the question is it over? Is this just a quick flush? Is this a healthy thing to expect after a good rally to the upside by the bulls and then continuation to the upside? Let's take a look at this in a little bit more detail. So ultimately what we got here is Bitcoin doing its thing. Okay, Bitcoin doing its thing, unfortunately causing a little bit of pain. Now, if we go in the 1 hour, it kind of explains this a little bit more. As you see, we were grinding to the upside, not a good look, obviously grinding, which means that, coming down to hunt a bit of these individuals that got in, expecting a continuation. This is typical. Now, it definitely came down harder than expected. I didn't expect to break below this horizontal, but the market tends to do that. Why? Because the market wants to induce as much pain, inflict as much pain as possible. Let's talk about the absolute bearish scenario, guys. The bearish scenario is that we come down to 97,700. Very, very possible. Does that happen in one go? I don't think so. Is it going to happen in one red candle where we come down and keep on falling? I don't think so. I feel like we might get a bit of a confirmation. And plus, this right here is not, an indication of a reversal in my book, right? I would expect a bit of an inducement or a bit of a move up, maybe a dead cat bounce or some sort of price action, insinuating that we're going to reverse. This is not enough for me. So I'm expecting a bullish response very soon. Now, if we look at momentum and stuff, you can see that even the 4 hour, we're definitely rolling over. We're definitely oversold here on the volatility line. We could expect a nice move to the upside, but more so what's important to me is the reversion right here. This bothers me. Then why it bothers me is because the purple line and the yellow line on the lower time frames on Bitcoin and a lot of these altcoins are too separate from one another. They've deviated, they've extended away from one another, and they have this toxic relationship. The relationship is so toxic that when they are close together, they want to get apart. When they're far apart, they want to get close together. Right now, they are far apart, as you can see, and they might want to get back together as they have done in the past. We extend, it waits. We extend, it waits, right? It extends, it waits. Or in this case, sometimes we get a response to the upside and get back to it, right? And this is the way it works. Look, extends, and then it goes back to it. Somehow they get back together. So what I want to do is see what kind of response we get from the bulls, to see the momentum get back a little bit, maybe meet halfway and do something like this, and then maybe potentially see the volatility line, the orange line, right back up to this level, and then we can start deciding on what kind of bullish response we got. Because ultimately, if you start looking at the price action, let's go on the 6 hour. If you start looking at the price action, if we get a bullish response to make a higher high, no big deal, all good. No big deal. This was just shakeout. Now, if the bullish response gives us a lower high, not a good look. It could be the beginning of that reversal. And even a double top, it's not a good look. It could be a bit of a reversal, come down to 97, come down, hit some support, and then continue to the upside and start moving. So in the meantime, what we have to focus on is this dip could be a little bit painful, particularly with the altcoins. But what we also have to pay attention to is Bitcoin dominance falling while altcoins are also falling and Bitcoin falling? And it is. Bitcoin dominance is still on a downtrend today, given the fact that the market's dipping, which means that Bitcoin is dipping harder than alts. And if you've been following the clear indications of what an altcoin season is, it is a moment of which Bitcoin could fall, form a range of going sideways and find some stability, but within that range we're going to see Bitcoin fall as well, and when it falls, altcoins go sideways, allowing the Bitcoin dominance to continue falling with that recipe. Then on the bullish response, when we see Bitcoin bounce, if altcoins outperform Bitcoin on the bounce, we'll continue to see Bitcoin dominance fall even harder. And now I know a lot of people are calling altcoin season, but the reality is this is our first little indication of a potential season, given that Bitcoin dominance is falling, given that at the current moment Bitcoin is falling while the Bitcoin dominance continues to fall, and even more so Ethereum waking up. Okay, that's a big one. Ethereum waking up is a big one. Okay, so what we have to focus on are all these little indications of the continuation of the downtrend of the Bitcoin dominance. Why? Because all we got is our first little signal that doesn't confirm an altcoin season, but it could be the beginning. So we just got to keep on going here and not get shaken out, and keep an eye on what's going on with this market in the next little while, because it could be absolutely critical for our portfolios if we're going to enjoy some more gains here. Because the beginning, this just begun, guys. If you've liked what you've seen in the last week or so, guys, this just begun if it's going to be what I think it's going to be. Okay, guys, so that's that. Bitcoin is doing its thing. Let's move on. Let's see what's going on with Sonic, because again, we're focusing on opportunities here. Sonic, in my opinion, is a great opportunity. Now, I know a lot of people have been talking about Sonic, and that gives me an indication that there's major players here in this space looking for opportunities such as Sonic. And this is why I feel like Sonic has been a little bit suppressed. I feel like there's a lot of accumulation happening in the background. We know there's a lot of hype, a lot of good technology. This tech stack is solid. The team is solid. By the way, guys, I've done a deep dive on Sonic. If you want to know more about Sonic, check out my deep dive playlist. I got in the link in the description below. I have about 100 deep dives on various projects across the space. And it's super important at this current moment that you absolutely understand the fundamentals, because ultimately, if you're fundamentally bullish, it makes it much easier to buy the dip. If you think about it, if something is good, if you like what it is, you like what it offers, the value proposition as a software solution, if you appreciate its technology, ultimately you will be happier to buy the dip as it comes down. You'll have that conviction. So that's super important. At the current moment, you do see that Sonic's hitting resistance. Yes, it's local resistance. And what's a little bit of an issue is that Sonic technically inherited a lot of the Fantom sentiment, and I'm not talking mostly sentiment and emotion behind the price action. Why? Because, the Sonic is, the updated version of Fantom per se, and ultimately, because it was pegged 1-to-1 and transferable 1-to-1, technically speaking, if you had the chance to look at the Fantom chart, it's still it's at the bottom of the range, guys. And even on the Sonic chart, it's at the bottom of the range. So we have to understand that right now, really, Sonic didn't do anything. Sonic didn't lift off from didn't leave the station. There's a lot of opportunity here, but we are currently hitting local resistance. Now, what I want to do is entertain this, because really, it could be a breakout moment. I'm not a breakout trader, guys. I dislike breakout trading. In fact, I like buying bottoms. I like waiting for retracements. Even if we come down to the discount zone, I'll be happy. Point of control is down here. Even if we come back down here, I'll be happy to buy the dip. However, guys, as time passes, I am uncertain if we're actually going to get such discounts. Now, if we do, great. 886, 786 retracements all the way down here. Start DCAing. Golden pockets, zero point 0.5 Fibonacci's, whatever you want to do, guys. Ultimately, this is an entire accumulation zone. This is what people have been doing. Higher highs and higher lows, higher lows, higher lows, and knocking that resistance to eventually break out here. Now the question is, again, do we come back down to a discount zone to buy the dip? It's possible, guys, and I would say that we should all be prepared for all kind of scenarios, because Bitcoin has been doing really well, and so has even ETH. So that means that if ETH and Bitcoin decide to take a dip, expect that Sonic and many others, including the laggers out there, are going to potentially come down, even if it's within the structure. And it would be absolutely fine, absolutely healthy, not bearish whatsoever. But again, if you do a measurement, you'll see that Sonic, within its own range, if it dipped from here, it could come down 20% and still be bullish. It could come down even down to about 37% and still remain bullish. Why? Because it did not make a lower low. Right? So we have to understand that this is the majority of the opportunity all within here. The issue is that you're buying the top of the opportunity and it could get rejected. And then you're going to have to endure a retracement and basically endure red price action all the way down. So let's leave that there as a moment for a moment, because really technically it's a breakout trade. We could wait for a breakout, back test in spring. We could wait for some sort of consolidation, maybe a stronger one, put a stop loss in and expect that bull flag to break out. We could expect that this thing runs and it doesn't come down, and eventually maybe we flag out right here, and then we can get into a structure and a bull flag. You just got to be happy with the fact that you can get in here and you missed out on an entry down here because of the risk you're not willing to take. So this is a very it's so much a game of probability at the current moment, and what's going against you is you're not buying from a position of strength. In fact, you're buying into resistance. Okay, so again, keep that in mind. We'll get back to market structure in a second. And if you look at momentum is great. Guys, we're not even overbought yet. Okay, a lot of the projects at the current moment are overbought, which means that you're asking for trouble. This thing hasn't left. It's still in the chop zone. As soon as we see this purple line actually get overbought, guys, it's too late. This thing's going to start to fly. Right? That's the reality. And we've seen it with Bitcoin. We've seen it with ETH. We've seen it with lots of altcoins. I've been talking about this scenario over and over and over, guys, with Bitcoin. As soon as we passed the 70% mark, Bitcoin started cranking again. So this is what we have to wait for, is that when the momentum trend, as you can see, is moving to the upside, finally gets overbought, guys, Sonic is going to expand, and it's likely to expand to the upside if it continues going overbought. Okay, so keep that in mind. Now, if we start looking at the trend oscillator, obviously it tracks momentum of the trend, but I call it a momentum oscillator, a trend oscillator, because it's very correlated with the trend. And as you can see, EMA is facing up, green histogram bars in the bullish control zone. We are seeing the purple expansion wake up again right into here. Guys, this looks great. Now, again, if the momentum and the trend oscillator are both pushing upwards, the question is, when do we actually get follow through? And it has everything to do with price action. Market structure is key. As you can see, we need to break above this top. Once we break above this top, we get a confirmed higher high. Yes, we got a few higher lows. Fine. Maybe we exclude those. The reality is, if we break above here, guys, we get a confirmed higher high. Then we come down, confirmed higher low, and the trend becomes our friend to the upside. Then we break above here, and then it's over. A lot of people are going to see price discovery. A lot of people are going to look at this chart and forget the Fantom chart and look at this chart as a complete opportunity for this thing to fly to much, much higher levels. Okay, guys, so keep this in mind. At the current moment, what we do have is a scenario where we are bottoming out. As long as we hold this level, we do not fall below this thick yellow line at 37 cents. Guys, we're still very valid here. Very valid for a potential breakout and a move to the upside. Now, of course, again, I'm going to, have a bit of caution here, because Bitcoin done well and Ethereum's done well. And if we do come down for that retracement, expect that we could probably come down and be able to DCA. What I would do here, personally speaking, of course, not financial advice, is considering risk management. I would do a 30-30-40 rule. 30% right here, 30% right here, 40% down here, DCA on spot, and whatever happens, happens. Ultimately, this is your invalidation. If it falls below there, guys, we got to get into a defensive mode and protect the investment. But at the current moment, guys, if we continue showing the strength in the market, I believe that this is going to be, if we do come down, it's going to be a temporary retracement, giving us opportunities to pick up bullish bids so that when we come back here again, we have enough strength from those new bulls and all these profit takers that left to actually break out and start expanding again to the upside like we've done in the past. Okay, guys, the market's looking good. I know today was a bit red. Don't lose hope. Obviously, this is natural, a normal thing of the markets to get peaks and valleys. It's just about, finding the opportunities to scale back in and expose yourself to the market once we're back, moving to the upside again. All right, guys, if I've offered you any value in this video, do the channel a massive favor. Slap the like button. It does really help out with the algorithm. If you want to follow me on the socials, the links are in the description. Better yet, guys, join the Discord. The Discord is where it's at. Lots of good alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, and learning material. The best part is it's absolutely free. Take care, guys. Have a good one. And don't forget, buy the dip.